MWC is all about consumer launches, and this year did not disappoint. The future, it seems, is foldable. Chinese tech company Huawei announced what at first glance looks like your regular smartphone, but when unfolded, the Mate X extends into an 8-inch tablet. Samsung announced the Galaxy Fold just a few days before, which features what it calls a 7.3-inch Infinity Flex display. Both devices are due spring 2019 and will retail from around the $2,000 mark. However, if you're desperate to get your hands on this new wave of tech, Royole's FlexPi is available now. First launched in October 2018, it claims to be the world's first foldable smartphone and retails from just over $1,300. There's been talk about 5G capabilities for quite some time, but finally the first batch of 5G-ready handsets has been announced. Huawei's foldable Mate X is 5G compatible. Samsung also announced a 5G version of the Galaxy Fold, as well as the Galaxy S10 5G due mid-2019. And Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi chose its first ever MWC launch event to unveil a 5G phone called the Mi Mix 3, which it says has been nearly 3 years in development. A front and back camera is no longer enough. Some of this week's launches have taken multi-camera to the next level. LG's V50 Thin-Q features an OLED screen and a 3 rear camera system, which LG says is designed for creating content on a high-speed network. If 3 is not enough, Nokia claims the 9 PureView features the world's first 5-camera setup. The 5 lenses simultaneously capture the image and fuse it together into one photo, promising outstanding dynamic range and depth of field. So they're the devices for the Insta fans out there. And now for a phone for the film buffs. Sony announced 3 devices, all with 21:9 aspect ratio screens, allowing users to watch videos in the same format as a movie theater. And the tech giant claims its new Xperia 1 model is the world's first 4K OLED smartphone. With so many big reveals at MWC 2019, I caught up with mobile tech expert Ben Wood to hear his thoughts on this year's announcements.
2019 at Mobile World Congress is going to be remembered as the year of the foldable. We've seen this new device design come into a marketplace that was so dull. A sea of smartphone sameness has been replaced with device diversity, and it's a very, very exciting time. Since Steve Jobs pulled the iPhone out of his pocket in January 2007, where we've had this very dominant design, kind of black rectangle with a touch screen, everyone kind of innovating around the edges. What we've seen here is probably a new chapter in device diversity. And it's very reminiscent of the journey we went from kind of mid-1980s to 2000, where you had twisters and sliders and round phones and all different shapes while people tried to figure it out. And what I'm excited about with these devices with the flexible displays is we're starting a new journey, but we're going to see some awesome experimentation.
If none of those launches are to your liking, another device on show this week is taking the mobile phone back to basics. Swiss electronics company Punkt has launched a simplistic device as a way of combating smartphone addiction, cyberbullying, distraction, and even mental illness, which it suggests are all linked to our relationship with tech. Petter Niebe is Punkt's founder and CEO. Tell me about Punkt.
Well, Punkt is a Swiss-based company, 10 years old already. We have a small group of people around the world distributed thanks to technology. And Punkt, we want to make technology, but we want to tame technology at the same time. We want to come into the marketplace and say there are different ways to be around technology.
So what's the purpose of this phone here?
Well, the purpose of this phone is exactly that. It's a phone to take a little bit more control. It is a phone that can be seen as your primary phone, where it can give access to internet for other devices when you need that, but also just a phone to be a sort of a lifeline, if you may. A lifeline, because we as modern people, we need to be available for important people in our lives. But maybe, so therefore we can be without internet all of the time. And this is all about this kind of balance in life. We had to readjust a little bit how much of our time goes into the glass slab through every day. And we know that whether it's through academia or on our skin every day that too much is not very good for us. So it's time to do that, and it's time to do that because it is so important, because you go in and become a much more effective and much more creative person. We need to have more time for focus, because that's when we really do brilliant things.
And the point is, our normal smartphones don't allow us to focus.
Well, you know, the analogy would be, well, we don't have to do the heroin addict kind of analogy. We can do dietary, right? You know, if you need to be on a diet for some reason, you can't have your refrigerator open with the best things in the world. You will not be able to do that because it's just open and grab them. You kind of want to have a very, very bare refrigerator. It helps you. And that's a little bit the point, is that, yes, it helps to have some applications that can just makes it a little bit harder to go in and have that distraction around you all the time. But the fact is that if it's just a small swipe and 2 touches, it's hard to resist. So, well, there's someone that are extremely disciplined and fantastic. You don't need certainly my phone, but the reality is that we're not that disciplined.
So what you can do on it is text and call.
Yes.
And that's it.
Text and call, and you can use this as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So this is a 4G phone.
But there's no internet on the phone.
Well, there is internet onto the phone that can share with any other device that you want it to be shared with. But you can't use this for any internet purpose thing as browsing or email or anything like that.
Not sure it'll have quite the same impact as some of the other products showcased this week.
So foldables, 5G-ready devices, multi-cameras, and supersized screens pretty much sum up this year's launches. Next year might have a tough act to follow.
Thank you for watching, and for more from CNBC International, just hit the subscribe button.